Hello! In this video I want to talk to you about language schools abroad. Maybe you're at a point where you're thinking, I'm pretty good at this language learning thing, I can teach myself, I don't need no one. Well, that could well be true, but also language schools can be a great way to get a little closer to the culture, to the places, give you some motivation and a reason to keep going on your own so that you've got that goal in mind of going to a language school. Tons of reasons why they can be beneficial. Today I want to share with you my experience of a language school abroad, which was at IDIPA in Asunción in Paraguay, South America. And the school teaches Spanish, the more popular option, and also Guarani, which is an indigenous language spoken in Paraguay and parts of surrounding countries as well. So I had just 1 week at the school. We were in Paraguay for a month altogether, but we wanted some time to see more of the country, and we were making language stories, which I'll put a link to the Guarani episode in the description below so you can check that out. So I didn't have a whole month to go to the language school, but I wanted to go at least for a week to just kind of boost my Guarani. It's a language that it's really interesting, but there's not that much kind of on the outside. So like if learning from the UK like I was, it's quite difficult to find resources, to stay motivated, to find people to speak with. So when we knew we were actually going to be there, I wanted to make the most of that chance and to go to language school. And I was delighted when I discovered that IDIPA was a thing. They teach Spanish and Guarani. I got in touch, I asked about the classes, and I decided to go for 1 week, which was 20 hours taught over 5 days, like Monday to Friday. And it's 4 hours a day. You either get the morning session or the afternoon session. So for me, I ended up with the afternoon session, which worked out really well for me, because where we were staying, they also offer accommodation, but we were staying for longer, so we had like an apartment further out. From where we were staying, I could just trot down to the main road, catch the bus, head into the centre, walk to the school, and I'd be there for I think it was 1 o'clock till 5 p.m. So I'd be there for 1, have my 4 hours class, and then catch the bus home in rush hour, which took like double the time to get home than it did to get into the city, but that's fine. So yeah, I really enjoyed the lessons. The nice thing about it was, and it was a nice surprise actually, is that I was actually on my own. So I had one-on-one tuition with my tutor, and I think that was just pure luck. I didn't pay extra for that or anything. I think if you go and there's more than one person at a time, then you'll be in a group together. But for me that wasn't the case, and I was on my own, and it was good. So in terms of what did we learn? Well, to begin with, I was a little bit worried that it was going to be going over everything I knew, because we started like right at the beginning with the alphabet, but to be honest, and this is in part to being on my own, it was the benefit that I could go through at my own pace, which was quite fast for that early stuff, and then we'd move on to the next lesson and the next lesson and the next lesson quicker than I reckon if I was in a group. If you're in a group and you've got people who are at different speeds and different abilities and that kind of stuff, different levels, then it's going to be a lot slower to get through stuff. But we got to I think lesson 9 in the 5 days that we had, and I got to keep all of the papers, the lessons and the notes and stuff as well. So I'm really excited that when we go home, now we're in Laos, not home, but when we go home, I've got all of those waiting for me, so I can go back and review them, and that's a real advantage as well. I think it's nice sometimes, and like I said, with Guarani, it wasn't always easy to find resources, so having been given these resources in order, I can literally follow them through lesson for lesson again and pick up the bits that I need to as and when. That's been a real advantage as well, so that was worth the cost of the course alone, just getting resources. And then also having the chance to spend 4 hours every day for a week with a native Guarani speaker and ask questions, because it's all well and good going to a country, being in a place where they speak the language, but not everyone that speaks the language you've been learning in that place is going to care about language and is going to care that you've been learning. But when you've got a teacher, well, your teacher does care, because it's their job. So you can ask all those weird questions, and you can kind of learn a little bit more. It's not weird to ask questions like, talk to me about tereré, which is this drink they have all the time in Paraguay. I could ask stuff like that, whereas just asking a stranger or someone you meet on the bus or whatever, it's a little bit weird probably. So that was nice to have that kind of cultural connection with a teacher, because a lot of the time I think the teachers you get are either, if they're not native speakers and they're not from that country, they are probably a local now, they probably live there now if you're talking about a language school abroad, so they're a local, so they have that local knowledge that you can draw from as well, which is really useful. So I've written about this in a lot more detail over on the blog, along with some questions that you'll probably want to ask if you're considering going to a language school abroad. I'll link to that in the description below, so you can check that out and have a little read, and if you're thinking about it, make a note of those questions and find yourself a language school abroad. Give yourself a goal of going to that place to keep you learning in the meantime as well. But this is just my experience, of course. I want to hear about you. Have you ever been to a language school abroad? How was it? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, remember to subscribe for regular language learning videos. I will see you very soon. Thank you. Bye.